We'll get that started so I don't forget. That'd have been a disaster. See, can I set this right in front of me here? All right. Looks like we're live on YouTube. So just to make it quick, and I apologize if my voice is a little hoarse, but I got a lot of people asking kind of questions about how we are getting people through. So, and I see Miss Almaz is in here. I will bring her up. Um,
Hello, hello. I'm
hey, hey,
multitasking, so I'm just running around.
no problem. Give me a second and let me give everybody a quick overview, and then I'll
Yeah.
throw them to you for the last few minutes and let you tell them what you offer after they get done with what we do. It just as an option. So that'll be awesome. And I'm going to put my email in the chat real quick before we get started so everybody can have it. So just as a little background before we get started, um, I just want to kind of tell everybody like where I've been and how I got here. So I started out doing real estate when I was 19 years old. I bought my first house while I was living with my parents. And I had an older brother that I was blessed to have that kind of took me under his wing as I went through on my course of life and showed me some things. And we ended up learning about a little bit of financial stuff. And I became a notary and got into some rooms. I'm going to give you the shortened version because we're short on time. And eventually I ended up buying some real estate and we ran into some trouble in the first crash, which is coming. And this is why I'm out here talking about this stuff right now. And I got into checking out everything. We checked under every rock, scissor, or paper that was available. And I ended up being a blessing for me because we learned about how securities work and how to actually take those in the bank and create value for your company. And what we did is we tried to work with the birth certificate stuff when I first heard about it. And then we had to sit down and regroup and figured out that we can just actually create our own securities. So we took the value of our companies and got a evaluation done. And what evaluation is, and I'm going to this step by step in a second, but just for those who understand, evaluation is just when you get a CPA that's licensed and bonded to look over your company, revalue your shares, and come up with a value for your share actually so you can or your company so you can sell those shares to investors. And then we had to figure out how to go through and get a QSIP and insurance for all of that and a prospectus or private placement memorandum. And we were successful with that. I started one or two businesses off of that. And there were some mistakes that I made in that because this is something that people aren't doing, which I'm going to show you later on how much they're actually charging for this and why you may want to at least get started with us so we can at least get you to a QSIP number. And I'm going to explain what a QSIP is. So after that, we decided to come out and start talking about this to people. And we have real estate people and stuff that we deal with. And since I see that the same cycle's coming back, and a lot of people that may be public and don't know about any of this stuff and just are finding out about it are about to get scammed out of a bunch of money dealing with people. So what we did is we sat down and figured out how we can offer something to a lot of the public and make it something worthwhile to at least you can get started and get your personal and business credit up. With that, I will cut to the chase and I'll show you proof. I got receipts for anybody that contacts me in the private. We can show you everything that we do and how it actually works and all of that good stuff. So what we did is we put together a program called the Trinity Mentorship Program. And what we're going to do is bring people in because a lot of people obviously don't, if you're here, you found out about this like I did. And I think 85 to 90% of the people ran into a problem financially. Um, and that's what sparked me to even start looking into any of the information about anything that was going on financially beyond what I was doing with real estate. And a lot of the stuff that we ran into, we ended up finding out that it wasn't true. And I'm telling you, we went and checked under everything. We went, Gene Keating, David Clarence. I can tell you Roger Elvick, CIC, Brandon Adams. I can go down the list. We did all of it. But the one thing that we said that we were going to take out of it, and I'll tell you why here in a second, is we couldn't find out where the declaration of trust was. We had narrowed it down to where, okay, we do get what's going on may not be fair, and there may be some nefarious activities going on in the background, but we could not get down to the bottom of it because we couldn't find a declaration of trust. And you're basically asking somebody that's doing something wrong, if it is wrong at all, and I'm not saying it is because I haven't looked at it, to be able to prove that the trustee is fraudulent and all of that stuff from that angle. For my people that don't know what I'm talking about, put that to the side. We're going to get to what it is in a second. And it made me think about, well, if they can do it, you got equal protection of law. Let me go research the IRM and the SEC manual and the banker's guide and see how all of this stuff works. Plus, I was privy to be in these rooms as a young notary and watch the deals get done, watch securities get sold, watch debt get transferred, be in the court. I was able to see all of that. So what we did is we sat down and said, okay, let's study this and let's take the birth certificate and the social security number out of it. And let's replace this with something of value that we can go get a QSIP number for and put it on the market and do the same thing as they're doing. And it worked. So it was very simple. And I'm not against anything that anybody is saying. And I don't think everything's fair, but it is what it is. And it's not going to be anything we can change in our lifetime. But at least if you go on ahead and you go to try and mess with any of that stuff, you have some resources so your family is not going to get railroaded and you're not going to lose all your stuff or your power get turned off or any, your bank account shut down. This is why I'm teaching this to do this part first. I'm not knocking anything. I'm just saying this is a lot easier to do. Plus, you're able to do something for humanity. And when I say that, I mean giving something back to the community because you can't take something for free and not give back. If everybody was doing that, we would have no society. So, and I mean that by putting together projects like building hospitals, apartment complexes, giving people jobs. Some people don't care about this stuff at all. Even if you told them exactly what it is, they don't. There has to be something in place for them as well. So this was kind of after several years of working on it and sitting 16-hour study days of reading all of this stuff. This is what we came up with, and it's been working ever since. So what we do is we teach people, and I'm gonna say it like you're coming off the couch and you have absolutely zero money and like a 400 credit score. We teach you how to go from first focusing on your personal credit, and then we take you in and show you how to build that out, 50, 25, 35,000, 40,000, and we teach you how to put that into your business. And the reason we do that is because business credit has a little bit higher limits than personal credit. And then we teach you how to structure that business in a way that it's going to be able to receive business credit. And then now you may have $100,000 worth of business credit and $100,000 worth of personal credit, or $50,000 worth of personal credit. We show you how to liquidate that because what it is during the process for you to go and get your prospectus and your CPA and all of that. A lot of people don't have the money for that. These people charge for their services. That's just what it is. They went to school. They're regular employees. They don't know what you know, and a lot of them don't. Some may know some of it, and it's not up to you to go in there and start talking to them about it. So what you do is after you get to that point, you have the money to go pay for the things you need. So for you to take a business, and we do what we call a regulation 506D. So that's a private offering. So you're looking for private investors, or they call them QIBs or accredited investors. So you say you want to build a hospital, there's certain things that you have to have in place in order to present that deal to anybody to invest. And remember, on the opposite end, they bubble all this, they bundle all of this stuff up. Okay. And I'm gonna take questions at the end. They bundle all this stuff up. So think of it like securities. Think of what you've learned in opposite to set it up for yourself. So they bundle all this stuff up. So your deal will go into it. Like we just did one for 30 million, and that's the most recent one we've done, but we've done it for ourselves too. And what they do is they bundle it up in what they call derivatives, or they put it on the market. A private investor might like it and do it all on their own. And what we do is show you how to get to that point and get you a QSIP number so that you're able to go have that house. Now, there are certain things that you need to do that. You need a bond insurance, and that's going to be from a CPA. You need um, a CPA. I'm sorry, you need a CPA to do your valuation and your financials. They're bonded. You need a bond counsel letter from an attorney to look it over. And then you can go get your QSIP number. Now, all of these three places that I just talked about, all are bonded and have licensed people looking after it. When you get your QSIP number, they're going to give you a final prospectus, and that's what we do for you. And that's the main charge of it. And while I'm talking about that, I'm going to put up what that actually costs so you guys can get the value of what I'm talking about. And this is what people don't understand. If you give me one moment, I'm going to share my screen while I talk about it and kind of show you guys. Um, First, I'll show you what the actual QSIP number is so we can get past that part of it. I don't know if everybody can see that. If you can hit me in the chat and let me know if you can see my screen, you can actually see that we've actually just done this. Um, and they're getting funding. And I had to redact it because, of course, people, he gave me permission to do this, but I just want to let people see what it actually looks like. And when you get an actual QSIP number, and you can call QSIP Global yourself, and it's a real place, and it's not the birth certificate or a registered mail number or any of that. I'm talking about an actual QSIP number that you can go take into the bank, and you won't have to go through any of the United States backing your bond and insuring everything, because that's not how they're doing it. So why would you? Do it just like they do it, and you can do that on your own. And we go over how to buy debt and all of that good stuff. Whoever's got us on is just mute out for 1 second, and we'll let you talk if you got a question. Um, just make sure that you guys are kind of understanding what I'm saying with that, because that's a very important thing to kind of disconnect from the birth certificate and the social security number and all the rhetoric you see that's been going on since the 1980s. Nobody's gotten through. So this has been going on for what, almost 60 years, 60 plus years. Nobody's gotten through using that method. It's just recycling information. So instead of spending a bunch of money on doing that, you can be putting that into building your company for whatever idea you have. You have to have a business or an idea. Everybody that is doing this stuff, that's studying, is very smart. Even if you want to buy just a franchise, a McDonald's, a Burger King, something that makes money, so at least that you're okay, and then go pursue that stuff right there. So I want to show you that stuff to begin with. And if you give me 1 second here, let me see, can I pull the rest up for you on the share? and get back to what I was talking about. I'm gonna try and keep it quick because I want to get Almaz on because she has a very effective tool. So part of what we do that to revalue your company is when you do set your company up, we teach you about debt, and it's kind of opposite of what you're thinking about when you're going into this. So we live in a debt-based society and the country is bankrupt, to skip to the short and skinny of it. And I'm going to be putting up videos on YouTube, and hopefully I can do this every week to start showing people and kind of putting perspective on the information that you hear. So debt is money. The dollar that you have is debt, right? So what we're doing is saying, okay, people create debts every day through contracts. You have the unlimited ability to contract, and we're teaching you how to go by receivables, which means debt that's charged off. And it's your choice whether you want to pursue that yourself or not. You can outsource that, whatever, but you're not using it for that. We're teaching people how to get up, set up to report and be able to use that debt in their advantage on their books, because this is all about accounting with the IRS. So there's a way to list debt as a write-off, and you can write off the whole debt, and there's a way to write it on your receivables so that you can use that as value for your company. So if you got five to $10,000, $20,000 that we teach you how to get from your personal and business credit, you swipe that on a card. Your company, after you get your valuation done, is worth two, three, $4 million, depends on what you can get the debt for. Um, and it's going to be plenty of debt out here coming up because the economy is going to crash. We're going into a not a recession, but a depression. So that's what we're teaching people how to do as far as the CPA part works. Then we're teaching you how to hold that in a trust, and everything that you spend in your trust, even if it's through your business, if it's set up right and you got your CPA doing your books right, and this is not financial advice, this is just for educational and into entertainment purposes only. If you got your books right and you got a CPA that knows what they're doing, and we'll give you a checklist, we're just consultants. They will know how to set your trust up, because everything that you do for your trust is for your beneficiaries. Most of us in here are doing this for our children or a loved one, or somebody to leave it to somebody. You can't own anything, you can only control it. So you got to figure out how to be a transmitting utility and transmit that from you to your children. Excuse my voice. That's what we're teaching you, but we're teaching you how to set it up. And this is just a very, very basic setup that we're teaching you. This gets into offshore stuff. I mean, it expounds. Um, but everything that you spend out of your trust account, you can write that off. So like even if your business taxes are $10,000, $15,000, you can end up writing that off if you bought food for your kids, diapers, toilet paper, your car note. It's just all how you're holding it. This is how you remain private, and you write up a contract with your trust in order to administrate that. And that's a whole separate part that we'll get into later. But I'm giving you kind of an overview. And I'm going to put this on YouTube so you guys can go look at it, what I'm talking about, and we'll get into detail about it, about negotiable instruments and all of that stuff. But this is kind of an overview of what we're doing and what we're offering. We take you up to the point till you get a QSIP number, and we show you how to get your instrument house and how to shop it. It's not that difficult at that point. Once you have to insurance the Miller Act. Any of you guys on here, go read the Miller Act. You have to have everything insured. That's what makes your bond or your negotiable instrument live money. Yeah, everybody talks about USC, uh, um, USC 411. I can't come up with it right now, but I'll pull it up. I think it's 12 USC 411. But redeeming
Well,
lawful money,
yeah.
that's what they're talking about. So lawful money, that bond becomes lawful when you insure it, but it has to be backed by something. And what they're doing is backing it by the U.S. obligation to pay, instead of you backing it by what your assets and the value that you have. What that US, the US backing your obligations, and everything they're talking about the birth certificate, is like if you go overseas to like Spain and you get in a car wreck and you bust up somebody's building, the US is saying that we'll cover the damage in Spain. That's an obligation of the US. It's offshore. It's not here. That's why they're taught you hear them talking about foreign trust, foreign this. And we'll show you how to set that up too, because that's ill. But if you can't manage this part and clean your credit, then you can't get to that part of managing. You won't even have the money to hire a registered agent to handle your bank account to even get over there. So we're trying to get people started without having to spend all of this money to do it and show you how you can use your credit and leverage that to get to that point that everybody's talking to. But the misinformation out there will keep you in a loop or a circle and you'll lose all of your stuff before you get there. Why do you think they're allowing it to go on? If it's been going on for 60 years and it works so well, then you would hear people. You notice nobody ever says anybody got through or that they got through themselves. If I'm selling something, shouldn't I be able to pay you with a negotiable instrument? And you should be able to process it because you know how it works. But people get stuck on this and we be desperate. And I've been in that position. That's why I'm coming out and saying that. And I've had family and friends and everything go out and actually get hurt and go to jail behind this stuff, believing some guru that's not going to be in there in the court with you. At least everything that we're teaching you is licensed and bonded 4 or 5 times over. And it's insured. An insurance company is not going to insure your bond or your negotiable instrument. Call them and ask them to insure something backed by the United States, and then call them and ask them if they'll insure something backed by corporate assets, and you'll see the difference. So we can get away from this a little bit. And I'm not saying not to go investigate that or knock it down or it's not true or somebody's not doing it. I'm just trying to keep you from getting hurt because at the end of the day, you're here for your family and you're trying to stay safe and provide for them in a way that you can pass something down to them after you're done doing it. So that's kind of what we're teaching. And it's several ways to do it. This is not the only way to skin a cat, but we got a few ways that we're grinding up to get people to understand how to use it. And this is kind of like an intro, and we're going to start breaking it down. And I'll get on here more often. Um, but that's kind of the Trinity program: your personal credit, your business credit, and your trust structure. And then we get you your trade lines or whatever you need along the way to get you to getting your QSIP insured, getting you something. We got 10 minutes, so I'm gonna bring her on. Getting everything insured, your bond insured, showing you how to shop that around and making sure that you have an actual business. And one of those businesses, which I'm going to give to Miss Almaz here in a second, and I'm gonna introduce her. She's a great person. I've worked with her for several years. We are just in a business meeting today and have some big things coming up. But she does tax and deed sales, and she knows about buying notes and opportunity zones. So I'm gonna let her come talk because that's one of the businesses we encourage you getting into and use as a risk mitigator for your business in case your idea doesn't go well. You have a backup, or you can do this first, however you choose. But since we only got 10 minutes, Miss Almaz, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them what you do.
My name is Almaz. Hello. I am
Hello.
you can see behind me. It's a map of all the tax sales counties across the nation, whether if they're tax deeds or tax liens. Personally, I think mortgages are a scam, but that's my own personal opinion. But one way of attaining properties is going through the tax sale. Now, this is not to get rich quick. This is slow and steady wins the race, but this is how you can attain property by buying tax sales and tax deeds. Now, I'm just going to give you free game right here. A tax deed is when, like California is a tax deed state. When they have the tax sale, you go to the auction. If you win, you get the property free and clear. Illinois, where I live, is a tax lien state. So if you win a bid at the tax sale, you keep the property for 2 years. Now, you have to pay the taxes for those 2 years until the owner defaults or he redeems the property. Now, the beauty of it is it's interest. So in some states, it's like 12% interest, 10% interest. You got some counties in Florida where it's 50% interest. There's millionaires right now that have their money in tax sales, hoping the person redeems so they can get 12% interest on what they put in. So this is just another avenue of attaining properties. And once you get your credit together, your QSIP, and take care of all of that with Mr. Tobias, you're able to do that. And it's just another avenue of attaining property. When I first started this out almost 30 years ago, I was the only woman of color there. All I saw was Billy Bob, Joe Bob with cowboy boots, with their grandsons showing them game. And these people never, he's like, I'm going to teach my grandchildren to never have to work for anybody. So the beauty of it is a tax deed supersedes all liens and encumbrances on a property except federal. And I know how to get around that. So once you own a tax deed, you own the property free and clear. That means the only thing you have to pay is the taxes and the upkeep. Like I said, it's slow. Some states you have to register. Some states, they want all their money up front. You have to call your county and get that information. And usually on their websites, you just look at their county, you Google in like what county is having, like Cook County tax sale, and they should give you that information. And you can call your Cook County assessors or your county assessor's office and inquire about it. And that's basically, some of the things that I do.
And thank you for coming on, Almaz. This
Mm-hmm.
is just to let you know that this is some of the stuff that we're leading people into and how you can add some value onto your company as well and make some money. And it's a great tax shelter. So a lot of what we're going to be teaching you guys is how to build up to where you can even have an opportunity to do any of this. And it's going to start with you getting your personal and your business credit together. If you have your stuff together, you have an existing business, that's fine. Everybody's going to be in a different place and we'll meet you there. But that's what we're teaching. And I'll teach you for free how to do it. But if we have to touch anything, we have to charge you because we got a whole staff. We got people like Almaz on our staff. She has a staff. Everybody has to get paid. So if we have to touch it, that's fine, but I'll teach you for free. And then if you do choose to purchase anything with us, we do have a course that I'm going to be putting up where we will do it for you, but I want to leave you with some support and you'll have the course for access. But feel free, while I'm doing free consultations and putting the information out for free, like just study what I'm saying. It's not easy and it's a lot of study, but if you're willing to do the work, it's not anything hidden. It's not any secret account. It's not a secret. This is what everybody's doing in what you guys call the elites. They're not doing anything. You're giving them a little bit more smoke and mirrors than they deserve. They're just being creative and they understand how the system works. And I was upset when I didn't understand how it works. And I see why people are upset. We're not taught this stuff in school, grammar school, none. If your parents didn't know, then you're not gonna know. All where you landed on the rock. They call Earth. So a lot of this stuff, and I like a lot of the study that people go through because it kind of forces you to understand your constitution, the how economics work, the history about behind what happened, and all of the extra stuff is cool. But this is where we're at functioning today in this society. And there are some loopholes and stuff. And I do know how to get A for V's and 1099 A's and all of that stuff. I know what all of that stuff is and how to get it to work. But I'm teaching you this, and I'll put up proof that I got stuff like that to go through. SMUD bills getting paid off, mortgages. And I'm saying don't do that because you're playing with fire. And a lot of people don't. It's not worth it. A lot of people don't understand even the premise of it because if you understood it, then you would understand what I'm saying. I'm skipping you past that. So really, this is the credit and debt game. So if you can figure out how to offset your debt, as far as if you got any tax problems, if you can figure out how to use your credit, if you weren't left a trust fund or anything like that, you're going to have to work with this system and these credit cards and business credit. And that's just what it is. Quickest way to get there. And then by you knowing how to operate a trust, you'll be able to write everything off that you do at the end of the day and take a loan out on your trust. Now, we'll even get into that. And, if you want to buy a bank, banks aren't that expensive. They're expensive to set up here, but how many other countries are there with banks? We got bank accounts in offshore. They do the same thing, hypothecation and all the stuff everybody gets hyped up about. These are just big words and concepts. You'll be stuck on a hamster wheel forever. And that's kind of what I want to kind of get people to understand. If you just take the birth certificate stuff out and replace it with your own assets, and if you don't have anything else, you don't have a business or anything set up, you can buy the debt and place it as a receivable. And tomorrow, as soon as the CPA signs off on it, your company is worth $1 million for 10, 20, $30,000 immediately, hands down. You can go work with that. I'll even teach you, if you're in a pinch and you want to do a real estate deal and you need five or $600,000, you can swipe your credit card for five or $10,000, which you should have that after we're done getting all of your stuff up together, and be able to go get that $500,000, do the real estate deal, and be a middleman and make yourself 50 or 60,000 and put it back and keep doing that. So that's kind of some of the concepts that I wanted to come with. And I know we don't have a lot of time to take questions, but I'm going to post this on my Noematic Elevation YouTube. So I put my email in the chat for everybody that's in here, and that's Noematic Elevation. You can put in Tobias Bay. It should pop up, and you guys should be able to take a look at the YouTube, and we can you can contact me. But my email is Tobias at nomadicelevation.com. Email me with any of your questions and everything, and we can set you up a free consultation. I'll talk to you for 20 or 30 minutes and see where you're at. And if I don't answer, just so everybody can see real quick before it goes out, less than 1 minute, this is what I am dealing with. So I don't know if you guys can see those numbers, if I can do that for you. But that's like, I got 219 missed calls, and I don't know how many text messages that is, over 600. So just bear with me, and I'll get back to you. Just leave me a message. Don't call and not leave a message. It's not gonna do anything for you. I won't know. So love all you guys. Peace and blessings to everybody. Thanks for showing up. And I'll put this on the YouTube page again, and I'll try and come on a little bit more often. All right. I'll close the room out. Great talking to you guys. If you got any questions, I'm gonna post this video tonight or tomorrow morning. Just put it up in the chat in there.